about that one thing for like 10 minutes. So like I've taken that on now where I'm like, I see the way my mom can make everyone feel so good, and I want to do that for people. And so like she's like all my friends will like come to my mom with stuff. Like they always know that they can come to our house, and like my mom will be there and like, you know, be a mother figure for them.
Yeah.
So I kind of definitely like looked up to that and taken on those qualities myself. Like I love just like helping people feel seen and heard, loved, you know. So yeah,
And
Suzanne's a badass.
agree.
I still have more ass to kick though. Not done.
Oh yeah, still going.
Just saying.
Y'all heard her singing, right?
Suzanne's a rock goddess.
She does a little bit of everything, but she's definitely a rocker. She's definitely a rocker.
And I'm learning soul. I got to give myself. I'm learning a little bit of soul.
Oh,
I'm learning it.
Well, let me ask a question. I know Kylie is the youngest. How was it for you coming from your background and teaching your daughters about sex, men and sex?
No, I want to answer this one.
Oh, you want to answer? Go for it.
Go. All right. So when I found out I was having a girl, because I'm a Virgo and I think I plan ahead. Like I'm literally always planning ahead. Always. Okay. So when I found out I was having a girl, I'm like, so at some point I'm going to talk to her about having sex. So it was in that moment that I sat there and I really thought about my method, and I figured I'm going to have 3 talks with her, at least 3 sex talks with her. First one, talking about herself and her body and how it might change. I had that talk with her when I was, can I talk about it? Okay. I had that talk to her when she was 8, thinking, and this is no way disrespecting the Latinos, because I was obviously with a Mexican. She's Hispanic. She might have her period early. So I had this talk with her when she was 8, and at 9, Kylie had her first period.
No way.
9. Wow.
And she was ready because we had the talk at 8. She was ready. She called me, and I think it happened at school where she said, "Mom, this is what happened." I said, "Okay, what'd you do?" And she told me what she did. And I'm like, "You followed all the instructions. You're a good kid. I'll see you when you get home. We'll talk more about it." But because we had the conversation at 8, she was ready at 9. And so I think she hit middle school. That's when I talked about her body and how it will be different to boys, and talked about boys, and not necessarily real, just real technical at that point about that. And I talked to her about it, and she was like, "Ew, gross, and this is what happens." And she was totally grossed out. She was totally wigging out. She hated it. She hated the talk altogether. But you know what? I don't care. I don't filter anything. Like, that was always me. Once she hit high school, and again, I'm having this thought while I'm pregnant with her. I'm like, when she hits high school, I'm gonna keep it real with her. Like, look, doesn't matter if you've been with one person or 1,000 people, your body will always be precious. Don't ever let anybody else ever tell you.
You were thinking about this talk when you were pregnant with her?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I don't ever want my daughter's I don't ever want my daughter's self-worth to be
impressed.
Other people's view of what she should be. She should be a virgin until she's married. She should be a virgin. No. At the end of the day, your body can be violated when you've had no partners or when you had 1,000 partners. Your body is always precious, whether you had. Doesn't matter. Your body is always precious. So you should always take care of yourself. And when you're ready to have sex, and only when you're ready, you get to decide. And please be sure to protect yourself. Don't let anybody tell you having a condom makes you look like a whore, this, that, and the third. Like, I went in, like, I told her everything. Like, she put her ears at that point, but at some point she started to really accept it. Like, okay, this is what I need to hear. And I think I even had a 4th talk where the 4th talk was like, boys are a dime a dozen. There will always be there. Have fun, date, enjoy life. You don't have to get married 30, whatever. You see, I'm in my 30s and I still get approached by men all the time. And I told her that I still get approached by men all the time. They'll never go anywhere. So don't worry about being in high school and a forever love and high school sweetheart. That's old. Like, get over that. Like, teenagers, and I told her, teenagers are not emotionally strong enough to handle the relationship plus the heavy petting that comes along with the relationship and maintain a normal, healthy mental state. They can't. You can't do it. I told her, I said, you've seen your friends fight with boys. You've seen them argue with boys and have these discussions and have all this drama that they're wigging out about on the phone. And it's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It's not worth it at any age, but at least when you're older, at least you have the mental capacity to deal with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I had no problem because like when I first had my period at 11, the speech I got was, okay, now you can get pregnant, so be careful. And yeah, that was literally the talk I had. Like, you're able to have kids. That was it. And my mom sprung my very first gynecological appointment on me. Like, I was, I think, either 11 or 12. I didn't know what was happening. She just took me, and there I was crying my eyes out because I had no idea why this doctor is violating me. A doctor I'd never met.
Wow. What? Wait.
Yeah. Because I didn't know. I wasn't mentally prepared. No one told me what a gynecological visit consisted of.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't prepare your kid for that, because, and so
it's traumatic.
I had concern. My dad was present, but not present, put it that way. He was absent in his present. My mom was military and Haitian. Old school Haitians are like already set back a decade. She was born in the 50s. Right. Her thinking was like in the 40s. So she was caught with, my mom is caught between trying to be a rebel and holding up these, you know, holier than thou Haitian values. And then she's a military parent. So she didn't know how to communicate with me, just the simple things. And that was the big thing I just wanted to put the kibosh on. When I was pregnant with Kylie, I'm like, I'm not going to let her walk in this world and go out into the world blind and and let a little boy sweet talk her. You know, if anything, I want her to be the manipulative one. You know, like at the end of the day, I want her to have boys wrapped around her finger. Like, that's what I'd rather have than to deal with her.
That's not going to do it.
No, she's not. She's not. She's a sweetheart. But at the end of the day, like, I'd rather have that situation. So yeah, that's how I had to deal with that. Like, I'm just gonna be real. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I don't want her to think everything is all gumdrops and lollipops in this world. Like, this shit is right. This life is always pretty, especially in the realm of when it comes to your body. So you need to be the one regulated. Sorry, I get real passionate about that one.
No, I love it, especially I have to say, especially in the, I want to say the African American community, sex and our bodies, there was like so much shame, and you know, from our ancestors and all the things that, you know, the trauma, we've been talking about trauma bonds, right? That stuff that's handed down to us, and like we weren't allowed to embrace our femininity. At my age, I'm still learning how to like totally embrace that. I'm 53, you know? And so for you to even figure that out, and you make sure you broke that cycle for your daughter, I mean, that speaks volumes. Speaks volumes. That's awesome. So I love that you're so passionate about it.
Yeah, I tell that to all, like, any of the young people that get around me and they're like talking about sex, because there's a lot of young people like I deal with. I'll let them know, like, let's keep it real. This is what you're doing, and you need to be doing that. Like, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Like with Kylie, it's like, you make your decisions and I'll let life punish you. But at the same time, I'm there as support. So I can only teach you. I think Suzanne said it earlier. It's like, I can only teach you so much, all the good stuff. It's up to you to make your decisions after that.
Right.
I had the total 2000% opposite of Dominique. I tell you what, that face, that's the good face. That's with her loving me through my ignorance.
She ain't lying.
I ain't lying. Talk about shame. I didn't even know I had shame in not only, you know, understanding my own femininity. I mean, Lord, please. If somebody, I mean, why the hell did somebody not tell me? Oh no, things like, for example, oh no, when you're working out or you're hanging out with your friends and you might get sweaty like under your breasts, that doesn't mean you're a pig.
Yeah.
No, boob sweat just means you're human.
Yes, basically. Yes. Like people are saying you have sweat glands where you don't know you have sweat. Like there was no deodorant. There was no deodorant for certain body parts, right? So like if you're
put a little powder under there.
Yeah. So all those things can, if you come from my culture or my family, who all they know how is to talk about something, and you hear, oh, this girl does this, that makes her, I gotta stay focused. I literally had to get healed from the shame of all of that and not having conversations with my kids about sex, because there is shame in that, because like when you love somebody, Dominique said it full well, she didn't want things repeated, right, that she had already gone through. Okay. Right. She knew she was responsible, and love takes action, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can be too much action, but love takes action. In my case, I saw it as love doesn't say a lot. There was no sense in it. There was no sense in that. But I also love how Dominic said, like, he was present, but he wasn't present about the dad. So like, yeah. I had a lot of adults. I had a lot of aunts, cousins, a lot of family, but nobody talked about things that mattered. There was so much discussion about things that didn't matter. You could talk all day about things that didn't matter, but the things that mattered, how to have conversations that could be hard, how to understand that if you don't understand something, it's okay. Don't be shameful about it. It's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not in trouble. Those conversations didn't happen. So, when I got to the age where the girls were getting to the age, it's like, what did I do? What does a stupid person do? It's like, oh, I'm going to go to a bookstore and I'm going to buy like a kid's book. Now they say if you want to learn anything, get a kid's book. If I wanted to learn how to knit right now, I would buy a kid's book on knitting. If I wanted to learn how to speak Cantonese, I would buy a language book designed for children,
kids,
about learning Cantonese. Okay.
Yeah.
So I bought her and her sister a book. They had like cartoon images. I was like, I got this for you. Here you go.
That's literally how it went down.
You can't make this stuff up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish I was a better liar and I could come up with something.
No, this is perfect.
That's literally what happened.
That's literally what happened. And no, okay, so that in itself, obviously, it's going to have ramifications that was healthy for nobody, But what's worse than that to me is that it still has taken me years to have difficult conversations around sexuality with other people in my family, because there's some really hard things that need to be discussed, and I still can't have those conversations. And some of it has not. It's a whole different side of sexual conversations now. But that's the thing. I love how Dominique said, like she was aware. This is what she saw. Oh, hell no, this ain't happening for my baby girl. Okay. Awesome. But it was that resilience, and it was that I love her so much that I'm going to take the action. I'm going to overplan. This is what I'm going to do. And so, of course, now Angie and her daughters have a lot of great discussions about very hard things, because she's got the wisdom to understand, things don't have to be repeated. Right. So, yeah.
I do just want to say really quick, like, we're laughing, and it was funny that you got a cartoon book.
Absolutely.
I think I was 11 or so, and my sister was like 10, and we're like, this is like, we're because we didn't know, but it's always important that we try to have compassion on the other person, why people are the way they are. Now we're like, it's funny, it's ridiculous that it was a book, but you getting that book, that was your way.
That was her way.
Mom, you did but you getting that book was 1,000,000 times more than what grandma did for you. That's grandma up in heaven.
Right.
You doing that book. That's why, like, it's funny and we can joke about it, but I'm going to give you credit for it, because that was your only way of trying. You didn't know what else to do. You were not taught the tools. You were not equipped. You were not empowered. You were not educated.
Right.
So you were like, here's this thing. you handing us that book was your way of trying. Your way of trying.
Yes.
And so
Thank you for seeing it that way, because it took me a lot of appointments to find that myself. That was to me, that was my let me throw them a swimming jacket. What do you call it? A floating jacket.
Life jacket.
Yeah, a life jacket. That was like, okay, I can't swim, but I can throw this to them.
That's right. That's right.
What it was. Yeah.
That's right. Ruth,
Absolutely.
I come closer to Ruth as far as how I was able to teach my girls about. I really didn't, because again, like I said, there was so much shame, and then I grew up in a very strict religious upbringing, and it's just shame, and I felt my body changing, and I didn't know how to react because I felt like I was the biggest sinner. You know what I mean? And then my first, I was sexually abused by a female cousin. So that was just like, I never told anybody. And, it was just, and then men on top of it, and a boy, it was just everything that had to do with the sex was just like, what is happening? But when my girls got her period, I did the same thing. I went and got a little pamphlet. I gave her the little pamphlet, and then I sat her at the computer. Never since you made me.
No. Why? The whole world is out there. Sure.
Literally.
Whole world.
Porn. I was like,
That's one way to learn.
No. You sat her at the computer, and then what?
I want to hear more. Yeah, I want
the details.
Ask for the details. It was so bad. That was so bad. I wish I had time to go back and undo some things and do it over. But they turned out beautiful in spite of. Yeah, in spite of. And we do talk about that. We're just like not being so uptight, undoing all of that and just embracing who we are, our femininity, our sexuality, and just being free, but protecting that as well, not just giving it just to anybody, but, loving you enough. Yeah. So Ruth, I got you beat, girl. So
we do the best we can, and it's amazing how well things can go despite us,
right?
Despite our hand we had in it. Yeah,
exactly.
We had a with both my girls, Nina and her younger sister, Sasha. There was a mother-daughter tea at our school, at their K-8 school, and I didn't buy them a book. I didn't do any of that. It was this little tea, and they had somebody come in from the community and talk about all this stuff. It's like somebody did it for us. So talk about which was fine. I don't know how Nina felt about it or Sasha, but I've always been pretty open about sex, and I didn't have that growing up. I had I played the cello when I was a girl, through high school, and I got my period. I was probably in 7th grade. I was 12. We were down in Springfield, and I realized I had a little spot, and I had to tell my mom. We used to wear black pants and black outfits for orchestra. And I remember thinking, oh my God, there's this stuff in my underwear. What do I do? And my mom just pointed to her cabinet. She didn't tell me, and I'm not mad at her, but that's how probably she grew up. So there was no openness about it. It was a very shameful thing. But she did let me stay home for the first couple days of probably my first 6 months of having a period, like in 7th, 8th grade. I had such an easy thing because both girls at good old Oak Grove School, they did this mother-daughter tea where they talked about, it was just mothers and daughters, sort of like what we're doing here. Very graphic about diseases and protection and feelings and hopefully some emotion.
I wish I got the Robert Crown Center. Anybody remember that? I wish I'd done a tea.
Right?
I just heard about the Robert Crow staff that goes into school like last week. I didn't even know that was a thing.
At least they go to the schools. They used to bus us to the Robert Crown Center where we'd have to sit next to the boys and the girls and give us this whole talk about.
Oh, see, it's better to not have boys around because they're just so stupid. They're giggling and no, this was about getting your period, what to do, how to take care of it, and I had no problem talking to them about it. I'm curious to see what Nina says because I don't remember buying a book. I used to tell them I was going to do this Native American ceremony called the Canalda that the Dene or the Navajo do, where they bake it's a 4-day process when the girls get their period. It's a big, proud, cool. I used to joke with the girls a lot about, we're going to do a Canalda ceremony and you guys we're going to bake corn cakes and, to make it more of a celebration. I like the fact that, and I don't know a lot about Native American cultures, but I've done a little bit of reading and it's a celebratory event. It's not this shameful process. It is, you are a woman now. And with that comes responsibility. And I was kind of in some very lame suburban mom kind of way, like, okay, we're going to be different. And I just wanted them not to feel any shame.
Yeah.
That being a female is the best. It's the most powerful, not power over men, because when you say that, men, because they've dominated over us, or they think they have. There's such a power, I would tell little girls, you plop those tampons down at the 7-Eleven or wherever at the grocery with pride, because of your ability, we're all here. Nobody gets through this planet. Nobody gets to the earth without passing through the Red Mother, meaning the Red River that takes us all here. So that is a beautiful power and ability that we have, that whether you have children or not, whether you have one, whether you have 10, should be proud of. So I'm putting Nina on the spot. I hope there's some pride in being female, because I think that's really important.
That's something you instilled in me. So yes.
Well, I don't know that I did. I don't know. I used to joke about the corn cakes. Mom, oh my God, stop. We're not going to get up at 6 a.m. and run. Because these girls have to run like miles. And it's
I got baptized the day I got my period and stuff.
Oh, I know. I was a little late with all that Christian stuff.
Well,
sorry.
My dad's mom insisted that we got baptized because she's super religious.
But that same day?
What?
But the same day?
The same day. So I was 13 when we got baptized, because we never were. And then my grandma was like, "You're gonna go to hell if you don't get baptized." So my mom was like, "Shit." So she went to church for a year, which was weird because we were at Unitarian church for a long time.
Ugh.
Very hippie church essentially.
Too hippie.
So
Too hippie dippy.
Church to church, which was weird. Anyway, I got my period the day I got baptized. I was 13. And I was like, oh my God, is this some sign? Am I a demon?
Oh, I'm so sorry you felt that way. Oh my gosh.
Not at all. Not at all.
Of course. Now I'm I fully embrace my period. I'm
that's a blessing.
It is a blessing. So I love syncing my moon cycle, or syncing with the moon. And that day I was like, oh my God, I got my period. And I was so upset. I remember I was crying to my mom, and I knew she wouldn't make it a big deal, but she was like, "Why are you so upset?" And I was like, "I got my period, and I got baptized today, and I'm a demon." I was freaking out.
Hormones, just going
hormones.
I know, it's a little bit
accurate. It's accurate for the time.
Yeah, it's so. But yeah, no, you were super chill about periods and sex, and it was never I don't know if we ever had a big talk about.
I think I did. Pretty lame.
It's kind of when I started doing stuff, I guess, with guys. I probably talked to her about it, and she was like, "Oh, okay, whatever, let's talk." It was never a weird, it wasn't a big deal, which I liked. I didn't want to have this big sit down, because I'm very independent and adult already. So I think as a 14, 15-year-old, I didn't really want to talk to my mom about that stuff. And now I'm super open with her about everything, maybe to a weird fault like point. Like she knows everything, so not everything, but you know, and we're open about stuff. So
Yeah.
I know it's so funny. I'm just learning how to even be open about my sexuality, and I'm hoping to be with somebody soon. But I was Crystal called me on FaceTime, and I had on a dress that was very see-through, and I didn't realize that all my boobs were like, you could see it. Like, I would like to have somebody to play with these at some point.
Yes.
Yes. Say that.
The worthy one. Make sure he's freaking worthy.
Right. But just to be
90% of them aren't.
But just to be
Higher.
able to vocalize that,
Higher.
What'd you say?
Higher than 90%.
Thank you.
99. Like,
But
99
it
point.
felt good.
Problems.
And you ain't one. But anyway, but because we hid our bodies. We weren't comfortable showing our bodies. So the other day, with now being older, and she came over and I was in the shower, and it's a glass shower, so you could see my body, and she's like, "Mom, your body still looks so nice." And, just for her to even be able to admire that about me, I was just like, thank you. That just like did something for me. Just embracing, I'm a few pounds overweight than I was, but just her seeing the beauty in me and teaching me how, and I think that's what our daughters do too. They teach us what we weren't able to teach them. There's some things that they teach us, to embrace that. Both my girls, they do that with me a lot. They build me up.
The Celine Dion song, that's actually like the song. That's the song for my youngest daughter. Like every single word in that song, like what I will find myself when I'm getting really concerned about her. I play that song and I just cry. Literally, my heart's cry for her.
Wow.
The go-getter and feisty and knows what she believes, and I love that. That's part of I love that about her. And she's also been through a lot of really hard shit. And the part about letting go. And so that song is really actually very specific, special song for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Wow.
I was gonna say, there's this YouTuber I watch who made this video today about like sacred sisterhood and how important it is. Like, I don't feel like more beautiful and like safer than when I'm in a room full of women and when I'm being held in the feminine gaze versus the masculine gaze. Because like for once, like when you're around a group of women, you're being seen for like more than just, your looks and your boobs and your body.
Right.
Seen like for your essence. Like
Yeah.
I always think of like the feminine essence and like how like as women we just like no matter like where you come from, there's just this like understanding and this like feeling and like you just know it's just this like the most sacred thing, and I just like so this is like so cool and like so powerful. Like
so happy.
Held by a group of women is just like the best. Just the
and emotional. Yes. Angie has 2 daughters. I want to talk about like this generation. Like my daughters aren't in a hurry to have kids at all. What about Nina and Kylie? I mean, I know you're 17 and you're driven to get your education and all of that. But at some point, what do you think? Are you looking forward to becoming a mom?
I'll go.
Okay.
I want to be a mom so bad. I think I genuinely only want one, like, and I've always kind of felt like I'd only have one, and like just because like with my health it's kind of like not, I don't want to say it's dangerous to get pregnant, but it is like a big deal for a diabetic to get pregnant. And so I always kind of was like, okay, if I can even just have one, like that's like so special. And but I feel like I do have like a very like motherly energy, and like so many times my friends have said like you would be just like the best mom, and it makes me sad because it's like something I want so bad. And just to like have that just special like experience like of growing life inside of you. It's just like it blows my mind and I'm so excited to do it. I'm not in any rush by any means. Like I have way too much to do. I'm a Capricorn. I'm very driven. Like I have a lot to do and I want to do. But I know like when the time comes, I just like I'll be all for it. And I have a lot of friends who don't want to, and I think that's like really amazing, honestly, because I do feel like there is a lot of pressure on women to like be a mother, and if you're not, it's like, oh, that's sad. Like she didn't have kids and she must be so sad. When like that's just not the case. Like